Thanks for tuning in to LandscapeToday.net's weekly U.S. weather outlook. I'm day weather meteorologist Don Day. These are the things we're watching in the week ahead. Some rain and snow is coming to the far west before this week's over. After a warmer, drier stretch, a quick shot of rain and snow, then back to dry weather for a little bit longer. But for you folks along the west coast, a little bit of weather's coming. For you folks in the east and the southeast, I don't have good news for you. The cold and unsettled weather continues for the central, the east, the southeast for a bit longer. Rain, ice, and snow again in your future here over the next 7 to 10 days. The break in the weather does continue for some areas of the desert southwest and the southern plains. You've had a nice break in the weather the last week or 10 days. That's going to last a little bit longer. Let's take a look at the current jet stream, and this shows us why all the bad weather is in the east. The jet stream taking a big dip, opening the door to Canada. We had record cold over the Valentine's weekend in this part of the nation. And we also have had rain, snow, and ice, and there's more coming. As you'll see in our precipitation forecast, this part of the nation here is still going to be susceptible to some wintry weather conditions, especially here over the next week to 10 days. So if you're in the snow removal business, ice removal business, you're going to still stay busy in this part of the U.S. for another week. Here's the dry weather along the California coast, although this system's going to come in later in the week. Still don't expect much to be happening in this part of the nation here, so if you needed to get some work done there, you've got some good weather for a little bit longer. That's going to change, though, in the month of March. Now let's take a look at the long-range forecast for next Monday. As you can see, there really isn't a big change. If we go back to where we are now to where we are coming up, not a lot of difference, although it won't be as cold for the southeast. Good news for you folks there. But the Great Lakes and New England will continue to have wintry weather into early next week. After some rain on the west coast, another break in the weather develops for a good chunk of next week for California, portions of the Rockies and the desert southwest. I think as we get into March, this part of the nation here going to get back into the stormy weather. That's something to watch in March. But for the rest of February, not a lot going on. The precipitation forecast over the coming week. Here's the precip we talked about. This part of the nation going to have a lot of wintry weather. On this area here, on the back side of this colder air, this is going to be an ice-snow mixture. All snow up here, and on the back side, it'll be this zone here that we need to watch in the coming days for the possibility of ice, snow, and hazardous conditions with temperatures on this side of the nation here looking at below normal temperatures for a bit longer. Here's the wet weather hitting California. It's not excessive. The Pacific Northwest will get real wet, but there's going to be some rain, moderate amount of rain for California coming later this week. The Sierra snowpack is still above normal, and they're going to get a nice shot. There's going to be a good foot or more of new snow coming before this week's over to the high Sierras. As you can see in the desert southwest and the southern plains, there's really not a lot going on here over the next week to 10 days, so good work weather coming on up. Thanks for tuning in to LandscapeToday.net's U.S. Weekly Weather Outlook. Any questions? Email me at don@dayweather.com. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.